WATE 6 News. When you see news, email pictures or video from your home or your phone to pics@wate.com.
I'm David Muir. On World News this Sunday, round 2. Israel pounds Gaza for a second day, almost 300 now dead. Arab countries line up to condemn Israel, while the U.S. blames Hamas for breaking the peace. Bargain hunters. In this horrible shopping season, there were still retail winners. Where are American shoppers spending? Paradise Lost, the alarming rise in the kidnappings of American tourists in some of the most beautiful vacation spots. What's fueling these desperate acts south of the border? Our closer look. And the real Von Trapps. Made famous in The Sound of Music, tonight the new generation keeping the hills alive
with the sound of music.
Right here in the States.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is World News.
Good evening. Israel's fierce assault on Gaza escalated into a second day today, bringing nearly unprecedented destruction on the Palestinian territory. Amid the rubble, some 300 Palestinians have now been killed. But Gaza's Hamas leaders refuse to back down, sending rockets deeper into Israel than they have ever done before and calling on militants to fight to the death. We begin with ABC's Simon McGregor-Wood in Jerusalem tonight.
Good evening, David. It's been another relentless day of Israeli airstrikes against Hamas targets, including in the last hour against the Islamic University of Gaza. This is all designed to try and finally put an end to daily rocket attacks against Israeli towns and cities in southern Israel. Another clear day, ideal conditions for Israeli pilots. Israel says this target was a rocket launcher, the same here in this olive grove, and here a building storing weapons. They hit this warehouse filled with smuggled fuel. It burned for hours. This was Hamas's main security compound and a prison. Some prisoners were killed, others escaped. The Israeli Defense Forces will deepen and broaden the operation, he says, as much as necessary. And that could include Israeli ground forces taking the fight onto the streets of Gaza. This morning, the Israeli cabinet approved the call-up of 6,500 reservists to reinforce troops already gathering at Gaza's border. Israel is trying to send Hamas a clear message. If the aerial bombardment doesn't stop the rockets, it won't hesitate to send these tanks and troops back in to finish the job. Despite the strikes, Palestinian militants still managed 80 rocket launches today, including the longest range strike yet to this field outside the southern city of Ashdod. That's 20 miles from Gaza. There were no serious Israeli injuries today, but thousands of Israelis are in lockdown. Schools are still closed, and regular air raid sirens send Israelis scurrying into the shelters. For now, there is widespread support throughout Israel for what is being called Operation Cast Lead. This is not enough, this man says. The terror must be wiped out. In Gaza's hospitals, they're struggling to cope with the injured. Many from Hamas, but not all. We desperately need medical supplies, he said. Nothing has come in. We urge the Egyptians to send us more help. In Israel, they buried a man killed by a rocket yesterday. In Gaza, they buried dozens. Israel has launched 300 strikes since yesterday and has promised many more. Some of those in the past few hours hitting Palestinian smuggling tunnels near the Egyptian border. Those strikes, David, briefly led to clashes between Palestinians and Egyptian border guards, increasing numbers of Palestinians desperate to get out of Gaza. Israeli leaders say they're determined to change the reality for the thousands of Israelis living within range of Hamas rocket fire. They want to force Hamas back into a ceasefire. They say Hamas broke it a month ago. There have been daily rockets ever since. The Israelis admit this could take a long time. David.
Simon McGregor-Wood in Jerusalem tonight. Simon, thank you. Gaza is the latest battleground in the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians. Many had hoped it would be a place where a Palestinian state would take root. Now it's an isolated strip of land where Palestinian civilians are trapped. Just 25 miles long, Gaza is home to close to 1.5 million Palestinians. It is twice the size of Washington, D.C., but with 3 times the population. Israel captured this strip of land during the 1967 Arab-Israeli War, but pulled Israeli troops out of Gaza in 2005. Still, Israel exercises significant control over Gaza's borders by land, air, and sea. building massive metal fences with barbed wire and an elaborate security checkpoint at the main crossing into Israel, Erez. It took us more than an hour to snake our way through the crossing, reporting there just last year. We found Palestinians trying to get out of Gaza who were not allowed. Poverty and unemployment run high, with 80% below the poverty line. Hamas, designated a terrorist group by the United States, promised relief to the people of Gaza and won parliamentary elections in 2006. A year later, seizing full control of Gaza in a coup. The people chose Hamas, this officer told me at the time. Since then, Hamas has been locked in conflict, firing rockets into Israel, angry over Israel's strict borders, the control of food and fuel. Israel now says its counterattacks are meant to stop that rocket fire, with Palestinian civilians now caught in the middle. The Gaza conflict may well continue into the next U.S. administration. President-elect Barack Obama will inherit not only wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, but this stepped-up violence between the Israelis and the Palestinians. ABC's Yunji Deniz is with the president-elect in Honolulu.
David, today President-elect Barack Obama began his day with a workout, as he has nearly every morning here. Behind the scenes, however, Mr. Obama is receiving daily intelligence briefings on the conflict in Gaza and plans to talk with members of his national security team, General Jones and Senator Clinton, this evening. Top aides say he is not expected to address this latest crisis in the Middle East at all.
The president-elect was on the phone with Secretary Rice yesterday. He's monitoring the situation closely, but the Bush administration has to speak for America now.
The Obama transition team finds itself in somewhat of a bind, with so many eyes fixed on the president-elect for any reaction to what will most likely become his first international crisis to deal with. Mr. Obama realizes he does not have any authority to act, and between now and Inauguration Day, President Bush remains the decision maker. One analyst I spoke to said that at the very least he expected Mr. Obama to express sympathy for the loss of civilian life in Gaza. He has not done that. Clearly, he is taking a very hands-off approach. David.
Yunji Deniz with the president-elect tonight. Thank you. Reaction to Israel's assault on Gaza from Arabs around the world has been swift. Syria broke off peace talks with Israel, and Saudi Arabia's king reportedly phoned President Bush and other Western leaders, asking them to pressure Israel to stop its offensive. ABC's Hillary Brown has that part of the story tonight.
Thousands of demonstrators took to the streets around the Middle East today to protest against Israel's attack on Gaza. In Turkey, a Muslim country with close ties to Israel, hundreds of people protested outside the Israeli embassy after the Turkish Prime Minister denounced Israel's attack as a crime against humanity. In Egypt, which has diplomatic relations with Israel, a huge crowd of students demonstrated outside Cairo University. The former foreign minister said Israel was waging war on civilians.
This is a major operation against generally civilian population in Gaza.
There were demonstrations in Jordan, which also has diplomatic relations with Israel. Arab TV channels showed a parliamentarian burning the Israeli flag inside parliament. In Lebanon, a crowd of angry protesters tried to break into the Egyptian embassy in Beirut, demonstrating against what they said was Egyptian compliance with Israel's Gaza campaign. For 3 years, Egypt has kept its border with Gaza closed. The Arab media is giving the Israeli attack huge coverage, calling it a massacre, and repeatedly showing appalling pictures of the dead and wounded on satellite TV stations. Some studio guests are incandescent with rage. What would happen if 60 Israeli jets bombed Cairo and not Gaza, screams Abdullah Shala on Al Jazeera TV. Newspapers and websites are treating the story like a full-scale war, with graphic headlines. Gaza is bleeding, says one. Hospitals full of the stench of death, says another.
Shame on you!
Even here in London, a protest got out of control as police tried to remove the demonstrators. But they said they would keep up their protest as long as Israel keeps dropping its bombs. Hillary Brown, ABC News, London.
Also overseas, there were 2 major suicide bombings today. In Afghanistan tonight, there are now images from a security camera that show school children walking on the right as the attacker's car approaches. The U.S. military reports 14 children were killed along with 2 adults. The blast took place near a police and army post and is believed to have targeted a group of tribal elders meeting nearby. And across the border in northwest Pakistan, a suicide bomber pretending to need help with his car killed 26 people at a polling site. The blast heightened concerns that Pakistan is moving troops from this region here to its border with India in the wake of the Mumbai terror attacks. We turn back to news in this country, and millions of Americans are on the move tonight, returning home from their holiday travels. Some are catching a break after a week of wild storms, but not everyone. ABC's Eric Hong reports from Chicago tonight.
Today at O'Hare, lines were finally moving again, but not everyone was getting home.
I've been on an airplane for about a week, basically.
Laura Sutton's plane to Albuquerque had mechanical problems. The next available flight, tomorrow.
And I would have liked to have had my bag, but I'm not waiting another hour just to get my bag. I'm just going to go to the hotel and go to sleep.
Few can remember a week of such extreme weather.
How would you describe your experience this week?
Ticked off.
There's been snow, ice, fog, and today, wind. In Michigan, trees and power lines were down, leaving more than 250,000 people in the dark. And in Buffalo, hurricane-force wind gusts bent the uprights at the Bills-Patriots game and frustrated kickers. In the Midwest, rising floodwaters continued to threaten homes and swallow up cars. Roads were also treacherous in the Northwest. Near Seattle, a snowslide turned Interstate 90 into a parking lot. In the Northeast, spring-like temperatures. New York reached a high of 65 degrees, warm enough to ice skate in a t-shirt.
I was expecting it to be snowing and really, really cold, but I was not prepared. I'm pretty much enjoying it. It's a little weird.
For some, a tranquil end to a holiday travel rush memorable for all the wrong reasons.
Here in Chicago, we saw something here today we haven't seen in a while. The sun is expected to stay dry here at least for the next few days, and that should help ease some of the concerns about flooding, David.
All right, Eric Hong again with the travel and weather picture for us. Eric, thank you. Tomorrow, Chrysler and General Motors get their first shot in the arm from American taxpayers. The Treasury Department will transfer $13.4 billion to their accounts out of the $17 billion President Bush approved. Now the question, will the car companies be able to keep their part of the deal? Here's ABC's John Hendren tonight.
It's payday for two of Detroit's big three automakers, and experts say the first installment is probably just the beginning. Over the next few years, Moody's.com predicts it will cost taxpayers billions of dollars to keep the big three out of bankruptcy.
The bailout will likely cost $100 billion or more before we're through.
The automakers are stalled in launching the restructuring the Bush administration wants. GM has put off negotiations with creditors until January 5th. And the United Auto Workers Union doesn't want to go along with the wage and benefit cuts the bailout agreement calls for. The initial $9.4 billion in loans is not expected to carry GM past February. Analysts say it's not a question of whether they'll be back to ask for more money, but when.
Given the depressed state of the auto market, General Motors and Chrysler will certainly be back again for more aid. It's just a matter of time.
With millions of jobs at stake, economists say the Bush administration, and later the Obama administration, will likely do what new car buyers do. Complain about the price, and then pay it.
But first, Congress would have to overcome a bad case of bailout fatigue after the $350 billion financial industry rescue.
The money has not been accounted for. It made the auto situation much more difficult because people really poisoned the well for government involvement.
Bailout fatigue or not, conditions are ripe for the automakers to garner more loans. President-elect Barack Obama and a larger Democratic majority in Congress were elected in no small part with the support of union workers. John Hendren, ABC News, Crawford, Texas.
And still ahead here on World News this Sunday night, even with the dismal holiday sales numbers, there are still Americans shopping, so where are they? What's driving them? American tourists targeted a south-of-the-border paradise now drawing predators. We'll take a closer look tonight. And then later, the real Von Trapps. So many years later, they're still in the hills, right here in the States.
I'm Deneen Varicchio, and this is my story. Around this time, the holiday, I helped to hand out food. The families feel very good when they open up their doors. I have arthritis in my fingers, in my elbows, in my knees. It just took my life away. I stopped doing a lot of things, especially volunteering. I take leave in the morning. It does work. I'm off and running. If I didn't have a leave, I wouldn't be able to accomplish the things that I do. It feeds your soul to do something good for others.
My fibromyalgia muscle pain wasn't something you could see, but I felt it all over. Some days I had to push myself to leave the house and do everyday things. Then my doctor told me about prescription Lyrica. It's not an antidepressant. Lyrica is FDA approved for fibromyalgia. And clinical studies have shown that Lyrica can help reduce the unique pain of fibromyalgia and improve function. So now I have less pain, and I can do more during my day. Lyrica is not for everyone. Tell your doctor about any serious allergic reaction that causes swelling or affects breathing or skin or changes in eyesight, including blurry vision or muscle pain with fever or tired feeling. Some of the most common side effects of Lyrica are dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, and swelling of hands and feet. Do not drink alcohol while taking Lyrica. You should not drive or operate machinery until you know how Lyrica affects you. Help for fibromyalgia pain can start here. Ask your doctor about Lyrica.
We have been reporting here that this has been a dismal holiday season for retailers. Sales have been down in almost all categories, nearly 20% for clothing, more than a quarter for electronics, and by more than a third for luxury goods. But one big exception to this holiday retail gloom is the world's biggest retailer. Walmart saw its sales shoot up by more than 3% last month. But as Betsy Stark reports tonight, even the Walmart shopper is being squeezed.
135 million Americans shop at a Walmart every week, and the retailer's own surveys reveal what it calls significant changes in the consumer's condition. A record 80% of Walmart customers now cite their personal financial security as their #1 concern. At this Walmart in Secaucus, New Jersey, almost every shopper we talked to was looking for ways to scale back.
You look like you're shopping very carefully today.
Yes, I am.
And tell me,
today.
This woman has traded down from meat to canned tuna because it lasts longer. Store data shows that sales of generic brands are growing at 2.5 times the rate of more expensive name brands.
Betsy, it's an example.
Retail
Consumers
consultant
pay
Bert
$2.78
Flickinger showed us a
Equate.
bottle of Walmart private label mouthwash for $2.78. The same size bottle of Listerine, $6.92.
how important is it for items to be on sale and deeply discounted?
They have to be on sale, Betsy, because if they're not on sale, the shopper won't spend.
With the country in a deep recession and unemployment on the rise, the retailer is keenly aware of the strains their shoppers are under. And it makes the $9,800 in credit card debt the average American family now carries more painful than ever.
Credit is being used a lot less. That could be for a number of reasons, but it may be that their credit is maxed out, but we're seeing a lot more shopping with cash.
Walmart is seeing another telltale sign of stress. More people shopping on the first few days of the month or the 15th and 16th of the month when they've just received their paychecks, and sales dropping off after that.
Do you make it from one paycheck to the other to cover what you need to?
Barely. In fact, I got paid today and it's already gone.
Sometimes not even the lowest price is low enough. Betsy Stark, ABC News, Secaucus, New Jersey.
When we come back tonight, American tourists targeted south of the border. Our closer look.
Steaming is such an important part of fresh Asian cuisine.
It unlocks the intricate flavors of ingredients.
Like spicy red peppers and zesty oranges.
But not everyone has a bamboo steamer.
That's why we created new Asian-inspired Healthy Choice Cafe steamers.
Our innovative steamer cooks right in your microwave to bring out the fresh taste.
For tender chicken and fluffy rice in a delicious sweet and spicy sauce.
New Asian-inspired Healthy Choice Cafe steamers in 4 authentic recipes.
Feeling stuffed up? Unstuff yourself with Afrin No Drip. It's got the best medicine to open nasal passages. Afrin, the best stuff to unstuff.
I'm Mark Goldston, Chairman and CEO of Net Zero. Here's a plan for America's broadband users to save $16 billion a year and $300 individually. Switch to Net Zero dial-up at $9.95 per month. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or go to netzero.com.
Your teeth have 3 dimensions. That's why the Oral-B Triumph delivers 3D cleaning action. Its unique cupping action surrounds each tooth for noticeably cleaner teeth and healthier gums by your next checkup. Power brushes with 3D cleaning action from Oral-B.
If you have high blood pressure like me and get a cold, you need cold medicine with a heart. Only Coricidin HBP has a heart right on the box. It's the only cold brand that won't raise your blood pressure. Coricidin HBP, powerful cold medicine with a heart.
Introducing Payne's newest Vanishing Act.
New Icy Hot Vanishing Scent. Now the power of Icy Hot glides on icy to dull paint, then gets hot to relax it away, and the scent vanishes.
New Icy Hot Vanishing Scent. Make pain and scent a vanishing act.
The heartburn-stopping strength of Zantac also comes with a refreshing cool mint sensation for strong, lasting relief. Heartburn? Attack it. Zantac.
We're going to take a closer look tonight at one of the most popular travel destinations for Americans and why more and more are afraid to go there. Mexico is being plagued by a wave of kidnappings. The State Department warns Americans that kidnapping, including the kidnapping of non-Mexicans, continues at alarming rates. One of the hardest hit areas is one of the most popular, near Baja California. Here's our senior law and justice correspondent, Jim Avila, tonight.
Mexico's Baja border country had everything going for it. Soft breezes for the boats, waves for the surfers, and it's cheap, and all within 100 miles of California.
It kind of felt like a second home. We loved Baja.
I had 600 blissful days in Mexico, and I had one really bad one.
But for Pat Weber and his girlfriend Lori Hoffman, two surfers from San Diego, that one bad one has ended their border trips to paradise.
They shut up the RV to gain access, and we both hit the deck while glass was flying. How much worse does it get? 45 minutes on all fours with a gun to your head.
Two masked, heavily armed, flak vest-wearing bandits ransacked the couple's RV, stole their money, and sexually assaulted Lori.
I mean, it was really heavy, I thought I was dead.
Lori and Pat's story is one of a changing Baja California. Now the FBI is warning innocent citizens are victims of assault and kidnapping for profit. As the Mexican government tries to crack down on narco-terrorism, the FBI says the cartels have branched out.
The disturbing part to us is just innocent victims, no connection to the drug trade, no connection to any other aspects of their business, are being kidnapped simply because it's become a money-making operation for them.
We have your husband. We want $2 million.
This American woman living in San Diego fears revealing her identity. She's married to a pharmacist who worked across the border in Baja and has not been heard from since 2006, despite a ransom attempt.
It was late at night. I had to get in my car by myself with the money, with the bag of money, and they had asked for a change of clothes for my husband.
But she never saw her husband, and the money is long gone. The FBI says nearly 50 Americans have been kidnapped along the border in the last 2 years. A travel alert issued this fall. And while it only advises U.S. citizens to be low-key and careful, Lori and Pat advise avoiding the region. What is it you want people to know?
I want people to know that you have choices.
Paradise without the threat of violence. Jim Avila, ABC News, Baja, California.
Our closer look for tonight. Meantime, off Mexico's east coast, the search continued today for an American woman missing from a cruise ship. The Norwegian Pearl returned to Miami overnight, even as Mexican Navy searchers looked for Jennifer Seitz. She is believed to have gone overboard on Friday when her husband reported her missing. When we come back here on World News, the famous Von Trapps still spreading the sound of music in the hills, but far closer than you might think.
My fibromyalgia muscle pain wasn't something you could see, but I felt it all over. Some days I had to push myself to leave the house and do everyday things. Then my doctor told me about prescription Lyrica. It's not an antidepressant. Lyrica is FDA approved for fibromyalgia. And clinical studies have shown that Lyrica can help reduce the unique pain of fibromyalgia and improve function. So now I have less pain, and I can do more during my day. Lyrica is not for everyone. Tell your doctor about any serious allergic reaction that causes swelling or affects breathing or skin or changes in eyesight, including blurry vision or muscle pain with fever or tired feeling. Some of the most common side effects of Lyrica are dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, and swelling of hands and feet. Do not drink alcohol while taking Lyrica. You should not drive or operate machinery until you know how Lyrica affects you. Help for fibromyalgia pain can start here. Ask your doctor about Lyrica.
72 acres of these, and she's got a cold.
Guess I need some medicine.
This will make them both feel better.
New Dayquil.
It's got vitamin C.
New Vicks Dayquil and Vicks NyQuil plus vitamin C. Vicks, you're taken care of.
Lindsey Vonn takes the lead. Earlier, she was suffering from an all-over achy cold. She stays tough.
How does she do it? What is that?
I think we've discovered her advantage. Speedy Alka-Seltzer.
New and improved Alka-Seltzer Plus, specially formulated now with more pain-relieving power. Rushes cold-fighting ingredients to relieve congestion, coughing, and all-over achiness. It's the official cold medicine of the U.S. ski team. Alka-Seltzer Plus, also available in liquid gels.
Introducing Payne's newest Vanishing Act.
New Icy Hot Vanishing Scent. Now the power of Icy Hot glides on icy to dull pain, then gets hot to relax it away, and the scent vanishes.
New Icy Hot Vanishing Scent. Make pain and scent a vanishing act.
Patrick Swayze, 1 year since learning of his life-threatening cancer.
Are you scared?
Now he's ready to tell his remarkable story.
How do you get through it?
Prepare to be swept off your feet again by Patrick Swayze, The Truth, Wednesday, January 7th on ABC.
The Sound of Music is a movie classic and a holiday favorite. Everyone knows the story of Maria, the governess, then mother to an aristocratic Austrian family. 70 years ago, the famous family emigrated to the United States, and all these years later, their legacy lives on, with Maria's grandson now taking the lead role. These are not the hills of Salzburg, Austria, but instead of Stowe, Vermont, where the Von Trapps, the family made famous by the Sound of Music, settled after immigrating to the U.S. in 1938, buying 300 acres of farmland, building a lodge, and renting rooms while on tour as the Von Trapp family singers. Johannes is the youngest of Maria's children.
The question I'm most often asked by people is, which one were you in the movie? So then I have to tell them that I was in the movie, but you couldn't see me.
The real Maria was pregnant with Johannes when the family escaped Nazi-occupied Austria. While raising his own family, Johannes tried to make his son's childhood as normal as possible.
People would ask as a kid, oh, are you related to that family? And we'd come home and say, hey, Mom, Pop, someone asked us again about that movie today. What's the story with this movie? And they'd say, oh, don't worry about it. It's just this small movie about our family history.
Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes.
But this was and eventually, even Sam was drawn into the family business, convincing his dad that they should get the word out, that they're still here.
I'd like to invite you to come visit us here at the Trapp Family Lodge.
But his father is still resistant to other moves to commercialize their history.
And they do have an off switch.
Still, father and son do see eye to eye on most things. There's an unmistakable Austrian theme to the lodge, and both have resisted a sort of theme park.
We get questions all the time. Why don't you have the Sound of Music soundtrack playing 24/7 in your lobby? And the response is generally to preserve the sanity of our front desk staff.
And their own.
Our pianist in the lounge downstairs knows that I really don't like to hear him playing songs from The Sound of Music because I've heard them a few times, a few 100,000 times. So if he sees me walk in, he just segues into something else. It's very funny.
That's not to say they don't embrace the film and the role of their cherished late mother, played by Julie Andrews on screen, and so many visitors off screen.
Every once in a while, I'll look out the window and see someone pirouetting in the field with their arms out, pretending they're Julie Andrews.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.
And of course, the movie that made the family famous is coming up next right here on ABC. That is World News for this Sunday night. I'm David Muir. From all of us here at ABC News, thanks for watching. I'll see you here tomorrow. Good night.
Here is positively the best place to start your day.